Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing well today. In this video, we are talking about a very important topic for English learners. Many people think that moving to an English-speaking country will automatically make them fluent. But this is not true, and today I will explain why. We will look at what real immersion means and why living abroad without the right habits does not improve your English. This video will help you understand what actually makes you fluent, so you can focus on the right steps and learn faster. Let's get started. Many English learners believe one big idea. If they move to an English-speaking country, they will naturally become fluent. They imagine themselves walking on the street, hearing English everywhere, meeting native speakers, and slowly becoming confident without much effort. This picture feels simple and easy. But in real life, things do not work this way. Many people move abroad and still struggle with speaking. Some even feel more nervous than before. In this part of the video, let's look at why this happens and what you really need to focus on if you want true fluency. First, imagine a learner named Sarah. She dreams of speaking English fluently. She watches movies, listens to songs, and studies vocabulary at home. One day, she gets a job opportunity in Canada. She tells her friends she will become fluent in a few months because she will hear English everywhere. But when she arrives, she is shocked. People speak very fast. They use short forms. They use daily expressions she never learned. When someone asks her a simple question like "How's your day going?" she freezes because she has never practiced answering quickly. Even though she is surrounded by English, she feels lost. She realizes that living in an English-speaking country does not magically make her fluent. This is the English Immersion Trap. Many learners think being around English means learning English. But immersion is not passive. It does not happen automatically. You do not learn just by being in a place. You learn when you interact, observe, practice, and push yourself. Without these things, you can live abroad for 10 years and still struggle. Let's talk about why this happens. One big reason is comfort. When learners move abroad, they often meet people from their own country. They become friends with them. They eat together. They shop together. They speak their native language all the time. Days pass, months pass. They do not practice English because it feels easier to use their first language. Even in an English-speaking country, they live inside a small language bubble. Another reason is fear. Many learners feel nervous when speaking to native speakers. They worry about being judged. They think their pronunciation is bad or their grammar is wrong. So when someone speaks to them in English, they answer in short lines like yes, no, thank you, sorry. They avoid longer conversations. They do not ask questions. They do not continue the dialogue. They hide from opportunities to practice because they feel uncomfortable. The problem is that fluency grows only when you challenge yourself, not when you avoid speaking. Now imagine a simple scene. You are at a coffee shop in London. The barista says, "Hi, what can I get for you?" You know the words. You understand the question, but your mind starts thinking too much. You want to say your order clearly. You want to sound correct. You want to speak like a native speaker. Because of this pressure, you feel stressed. So instead of practicing, you just point at the menu and say, "This one, please." After that, you leave quickly. This moment could have been a chance to practice English. But fear closed the door. The immersion trap also happens because many people wait for English to come to them. They think others will speak slowly for them. They think conversations will start naturally. But in real life, people are busy. They talk fast. They do not repeat sentences unless you ask. They do not simplify their language unless you tell them you are learning. So if you wait for perfect conditions, you may end up waiting forever. Another issue is listening. When you live abroad, you hear English everywhere, but your brain does not automatically learn from it. If you hear English without focus, it becomes noise. For example, if you take the bus every day in New York, you hear people talking, but you do not understand the conversations because you are not trying to listen actively. Your brain ignores the words. You only hear sounds. This is not learning. It is the same as hearing music in the background. It does not teach you anything unless you listen with attention. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you hear two people talking in a store. One says, "Do you need a bag?" or "Are you good?" You know the word bag, but you may not understand the phrase "Are you good?" Maybe you think it means "Are you a good person?" But in daily speech, it means "Do you have what you need?" If you do not focus, you will not learn the real meaning. This is why passive immersion does not work. You must pay attention to patterns, expressions, tone, and context. Without active listening, living abroad does not help. Now let's think about speaking. Many learners think they will speak more when they live abroad, but this depends on their actions. Speaking does not just happen. You must create moments to speak. You must start conversations. You must ask questions. You must talk even when you feel shy. Fluency grows with practice, not place. A learner who practices speaking daily in their home country may become more fluent than someone who lives abroad but avoids conversations. Another example is a learner named Ali. He moves to Australia and starts working in a store. He talks to customers every day, but he always says the same lines like "Hello, how can I help you? Thank you, have a nice day." These lines become automatic. He repeats them without thinking. Even after 1 year, he still cannot hold a longer conversation because he did not practice beyond the basic phrases. Work does not automatically improve his English unless he pushes himself to speak more, ask questions, and have real conversations. This shows an important truth. You do not learn a language through repeated patterns alone. You learn when you face new situations, new topics, and new vocabulary. If your daily routine is always the same, your English level stays the same too. Many people abroad experience this. They do the same tasks every day, so their English does not grow. Now let's talk about something many learners do not notice: thinking in English. Even if you live abroad, you may still think in your native language. When someone asks you a question, you translate the question in your head. Then you create an answer in your native language. Then you translate that answer into English. This takes time. It makes conversations slow and stressful. Living abroad does not stop this habit. Only practice and training do. If you do not train your brain to think in English, your fluency will not improve no matter where you live. Here is a simple scene. You are at work. Your coworker says, "We might need to finish this today." Your brain translates each word. You understand the meaning, but you need time to respond. You want to say, "No problem, I can do it." But in your mind, you first create the sentence in your language and then translate it. By the time you finish, the moment feels awkward. This happens not because you live abroad or not, but because you have not practiced forming quick responses in English. There is also the problem of expectation. Many learners expect native speakers to correct their mistakes. They think if they say something wrong, someone will teach them the right sentence. But native speakers usually do not correct mistakes unless you ask. They just want to keep the conversation smooth. So if you wait for correction, you may never improve. You must take control of your learning. You must ask people to repeat, explain, or correct you when needed. Otherwise, you may repeat the same mistakes for years. Let's look at another common situation. You are at a supermarket in the USA. You ask a worker, "Where is the milk?" The worker replies, "Yeah, it's over there by the dairy section." You understand the word milk, but maybe you do not know the word dairy. You feel confused. Instead of asking, "What does dairy mean?" you smile politely and walk away, hoping you will find it. This is a missed learning moment. Living abroad gives you opportunities, but you must use them actively. If you do not ask questions or ask for clarification, those moments disappear. A big part of fluency is confidence. Confidence does not come from living in a new country. It comes from practice, progress, and daily effort. If you move abroad but do not practice regularly, your confidence may not grow. You may even feel worse because you see native speakers everywhere and think their English is perfect. This can make you compare yourself and feel small. But fluency is not about perfection. It is about communication. You must remember that every native speaker also learned the language as a child. They made mistakes too. Their fluency came from years of practice, not magic. And your fluency will come the same way. Now let's talk about daily life abroad. Many learners think they will speak English all day, but that depends on their environment. Some people work in jobs where everyone speaks the same language they do. Some people live in neighborhoods with people from their home country. Some watch TV in their native language. Some use social media in their native language. So even though they live in an English-speaking country, their daily life is not in English. Without English input and English practice, fluency does not grow. Imagine someone who lives in the UK but watches shows from their home country, talks to family on calls, cooks with recipes in their language, listens to music in their language, and spends time with friends who speak the same language. Even though they live in an English-speaking place, their brain is receiving almost no English practice. This is why moving abroad is not enough. Another important point is that language skills do not grow equally. You may improve your listening, but not your speaking. You may improve your vocabulary, but not your grammar. You may improve your reading, but not your pronunciation. Living abroad does not automatically balance these skills. You need a plan. You need to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing with intention. Without a plan, your learning becomes random. And random learning does not create fluency. Now imagine a learner named Diego. He moves to Ireland and hears English every day. His listening gets better because he hears natural speech. But he never practices speaking, so his speaking stays weak. He still hesitates. He still feels shy. He still avoids conversations. After 2 years, he understands a lot but cannot talk easily. This is because listening alone does not develop speaking. They are separate skills. Both need practice. Here is another simple example. You go to a fast food restaurant in Australia. The cashier asks, "Is this for here or takeaway?" You know takeaway, but maybe you do not understand for here. You guess the meaning from the situation. This is good. But if you hear phrases you do not understand, you should take notes, look them up later, and practice using them. If you skip this step, you will hear the same phrases again and again without learning them. This is why active learning is necessary. You cannot learn a word or phrase just by hearing it once. You must understand it, repeat it, use it, and review it. Living abroad may expose you to the language, but only active practice helps you remember. A big part of the immersion trap is belief. Many learners believe moving abroad is the solution. They think the location will fix their English problem. But location is not the main factor, action is. You can live in your home country and learn quickly if you practice daily. You can live abroad and stay stuck if you avoid practice. Fluency is not about where you live. It is about what you do every day. In this first part, we explored the reasons why moving abroad does not automatically make you fluent. We looked at fear, comfort, lack of practice, lack of active listening, lack of questions, and wrong expectations. We saw that fluency requires action, not just environment. In part 2, we will explore what real immersion looks like and how you can create a powerful learning system no matter where you live. We will talk about simple habits, daily routines, and practical steps you can use to build fluency faster. Let's continue in the next part. Now that we understand why moving abroad does not automatically make you fluent, let's look at what real immersion actually means and how you can create it anywhere in the world. Real immersion is not about your location. It is about your daily habits, your actions, and your willingness to push yourself a little every day. Even if you live in your home country, you can build a strong English environment around you. And if you already live abroad, these habits will help you get the benefits you expected. Let's start with active listening. In part 1, we talked about how passive listening does not help. Passive listening is when English is around you, but you do not pay attention. Active listening is different. It means you listen with focus. You try to catch words. You try to understand expressions. You pay attention to tone. You pause, repeat, and practice. When you listen actively, your brain begins to remember patterns. You start to notice common words and phrases. You begin to understand daily English faster. Imagine you are watching a short clip from a TV show. Instead of watching the whole episode, you choose a small part. You listen to one sentence. You pause. You repeat the sentence out loud. You listen again. You pay attention to pronunciation and stress. You try to say it the same way. This is real learning. This kind of practice builds your listening and speaking at the same time. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. Let's take a simple example. A character in a show says, "I'll be right back." Maybe you understand the words but not the real sound. In real speech, it becomes something like, "I'll be right back." When you practice hearing the connected sound and then repeat it, you train your ear to understand natural speech. This is something many learners miss, even when living abroad. They hear English every day but never practice the sounds. This is why real immersion must be active. Now let's talk about speaking. Speaking is the skill most people want but also the skill most people avoid. Many learners wait for the perfect moment. They think they need more vocabulary, better grammar, or more confidence before speaking. But the truth is you get vocabulary, grammar, and confidence by speaking, not before speaking. Speaking is not something that comes after learning. Speaking is part of learning. A simple way to practice speaking every day is shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence and repeat it at the same time. Your voice follows the speaker. You do not worry if it is perfect. You just try. This trains your tongue, your mouth, and your brain to work together. It helps you think faster. It helps you sound more natural. And you can do this anywhere, walking, cooking, cleaning, or waiting for a bus. Another activity is self-talk. Many people feel strange talking to themselves, but it is one of the best ways to practice. You do not need anyone else. You just need a topic. For example, describe your morning. Explain what you are cooking. Talk about your plan for the day. Ask yourself questions and answer them. You can say something like, "What should I do next?" "Maybe I will read for 10 minutes. Talking to yourself builds fluency because it trains your brain to form sentences quickly. It also helps you think in English. And thinking in English is a big part of real fluency. Now let's talk about creating daily English routines. Habits are powerful. When you do small things every day, you grow faster than doing big things sometimes. Many learners study hard for 1 hour and then do nothing for a week. This does not work. Consistency is more important than intensity. 10 minutes every day is better than 1 hour once a week. You can start with a simple routine. In the morning, listen to a short English clip. During lunch, read a small paragraph. In the evening, practice speaking for a few minutes. Before sleep, review new words. These small steps build a strong learning system. With this system, you create your own English environment. Even if you live in a non-English country, let's also talk about reading. Reading helps you learn new vocabulary and understand sentence structure. But you do not need hard books. You can start with simple stories, news for learners, or short posts online. When you read, try to slow down. Look at how sentences are formed. Look at common words. Look at simple expressions. Reading helps your brain become familiar with English patterns. Later, when you listen or speak, those patterns become easier. Another important part of real immersion is using English for daily life. For example, set your phone to English. Change your app language to English. Search on Google in English. Write notes in English. Use English when planning, shopping, or learning something new. When you use English as a tool, not as a subject to study, your fluency grows naturally. Now let's talk about speaking with real people. Many learners think speaking practice is possible only abroad. But this is not true. Today, you can talk to people from anywhere online. You can join language exchange groups. You can find conversation partners. You can join speaking clubs. You can even practice with AI tools if you prefer. The important thing is to speak often and speak without fear. Even if you make mistakes, you learn. Mistakes show you what to improve. Mistakes guide you. Without mistakes, you cannot grow. A helpful way to practice is to prepare small conversation scripts. For example, prepare how to introduce yourself. Prepare how to order food. Prepare how to ask for help. Practice these scripts until they feel natural. Then use them in real conversations. When you know your basic lines, you feel more confident. This confidence helps you continue the conversation. Another skill you need for fluency is asking questions. Many learners avoid asking questions because they feel shy or because they do not want to bother others. But questions are powerful. They help you understand. They help you keep a conversation going. They make you an active speaker. If you do not understand something, ask, what does that mean? Could you say it again? Could you speak a little slower? People are usually happy to help if you ask politely. Asking questions turns every moment into a learning moment. Now let's talk about vocabulary. Many learners think they need to learn thousands of words to speak well. But fluency is not about the number of words. It is about using the words you already know. Even with simple vocabulary, you can express many ideas. You do not need advanced words. You need useful words. You need common daily words. You need words that help you speak about your life. One effective method is to learn vocabulary in context. Instead of memorizing long lists, learn words through sentences. For example, instead of learning the word improve alone, learn it in a simple sentence like I want to improve my speaking. When you learn words in context, you remember them better. You also understand how to use them. You can also build your own personal dictionary. Every time you learn a new word or phrase, write it down. Write an example sentence. Review it often. Try to use the new word in your speaking. When you use a word, you remember it forever. Now let's talk about pronunciation. Many learners worry about pronunciation. They think they need to sound like a native speaker. But this is not true. You do not need a native accent to be fluent. You only need clear pronunciation. Your goal is not to sound perfect. Your goal is to be understood. Clear pronunciation comes from practice, listening, and repetition. Choose a short clip, listen to how the speakers say the words, and then practice. Focus on stress, rhythm, and natural speed. With time, your pronunciation will improve. Another skill that helps fluency is building automatic responses. Automatic responses are short sentences you can say quickly without thinking. For example, when someone says, "How's it going?" you can answer, "Good. How about you?" If someone says thanks, you can say, "No problem." If someone asks, "What do you do?" you can answer, "I work as a." These small lines help you continue conversations easily. They make you feel more confident. You can prepare automatic responses for common questions and practice them until they feel natural. Now let's talk about emotional habits. Learning a language is not only about practice. It is also about mindset. Many learners feel frustrated when they make mistakes. They feel slow. They feel they are not improving. This feeling is normal. Everyone feels this at some point. The important thing is to continue. Learning a language takes time. It is a slow and steady process. You must accept mistakes. You must accept small progress. You must remind yourself that every day you learn something, even if it feels small. One way to stay motivated is to track your progress. You can keep a journal of what you learned each day. Write something simple like, "Today I learned how to use the phrase 'by the way,' or 'Today I practiced speaking for 5 minutes.' When you look back, you will see how much you have grown. Progress becomes clear when you track it. Another way to stay motivated is to connect English learning with things you enjoy. If you like cooking, watch cooking videos in English. If you like games, watch gaming content in English. If you like fitness, follow English fitness channels. When you learn through your interests, it feels more natural. You enjoy the process. You learn faster. Now let's return to the main topic, the English Immersion Trap. Many learners fall into this trap because they believe location is everything. But now you know the truth. Real immersion is created by your actions, not your address. You can create immersion at home. You can create immersion abroad. You can create immersion anywhere if you choose the right habits. The real path to fluency includes active listening, daily speaking, reading simple content, practicing pronunciation, asking questions, building vocabulary through context, and using English in your daily life. It also includes a strong mindset, patience, curiosity, and willingness to practice even when it feels hard. Imagine two learners. One lives abroad but does not practice. The other lives in their home country but practices every day. The second learner becomes fluent faster. This shows that fluency is not about where you live. It is about what you do. You are in control of your learning. You can build your fluency step by step. Let's end with a simple recap. Real immersion is active, not passive. You grow by practicing, not by waiting. Listening helps when you focus. Speaking helps when you try. Reading helps when you choose simple content. Vocabulary grows when you use it. Pronunciation improves with repetition. Confidence grows through action. And fluency grows over time with consistency. Keep taking small steps every day. Keep practicing. Keep learning with curiosity and patience. Your fluency will come, and you will be proud of your progress. Keep going. You can do this.